Guys, so today I am going to be doing a first impressions review on the new Anastasia Fall Romance eyeshadow palette. Mine is kind of dirty because I've been practicing looks with it, but this is what it looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? I saw it in the store and I just fell in love with it and had to get it. I got it for my birthday because my birthday was the 5th, and I know that it's been a while since then, but I've been like super duper busy with life and stuff and I haven't been able to film. Today we're going to be centering everything around this palette, and I absolutely love this palette. It is so pretty and it's easy to work with. I haven't had any issues with getting any shades to be pigmented. These greens are not super out there greens, so they kind of are more on the cooler grayish side, so they are more like, so they're not gonna be like you put a bunch of green all over your eyelid and it's not gonna look crazy or anything like that. Like it's super it's kind of like a natural green smoky eye. It's kind of interesting. And today we're going to be using this nice burgundy called Crimson and Fireside right here. And I had some worries with this eyeshadow because for some weird reason in the pan I felt like it looked like a nice deep, almost like brownish red, but that's not what it is. It's more of a cooler toned burgundy, like super duper cool toned. All of these are really cool toned. The most warm that you can get out of this palette is this Ember shade, which is not my favorite because I really like a lot of cool tones, or I really like a lot of warm tones in general, and this palette is more so cool tones, except for some of these, most of these shimmers, like even Smoke is more on the cooler side, but it is like more of a silvery kind of shade. But I really like this palette. I will put pictures of the looks that I have created just like playing with this palette over the last couple of days. And one that I did that was actually more on the natural side and like super duper easy with this palette is using leather and just smoking, putting that in the crease and then putting smoke all over my lid, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And it was very simple to do, and more on the wearable side if you're wanting something more wearable out of this palette. But this palette is more for people that really want intense smoky eyes for the fall, and I feel like you could even use these for Christmas a little bit too. I feel like it would work really nicely, but it is more of a fall palette. But this was my first Anastasia palette that I have ever gotten. Like I've never ever had an Anastasia palette in my life, so this was the first one that I have ever had, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's really nice. It's a really good formula, and they're pretty nice and smooth. I guess according to, I was having trouble deciding whether I wanted this palette because a lot of people were saying that it was like super dry or not like dry, but it wasn't as soft as Anastasia's formula normally is. And so I was concerned about it, but I decided to get it anyway, and I'm really happy with it. I don't feel like it's dry or anything. It's super easy to work with. I mean, it could be maybe a little bit smoother if we're getting down to specifics, but I think that it's good and I'm happy with it. So anyway, I'm going to be using Crimson and Fireside on my crease today, and I'm going to also be using Mulberry. I thought Mulberry was more of a warm brownish shade, but it's actually more like Crimson, where it's kind of burgundy-ish, and it really brings out this Crimson shade when you use them together. I found out So when I was practicing this look, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be using these today. And I'm also going to be showing you guys a video with these greens using Crown because it is so gorgeous. It's the most pretty green eye, like smoky eye that I've ever done. And it's not like, but it's not like super green. Like it doesn't look like incredibly green. So I really actually like that. But if you want more like intense green and you want your greens to look like greens, you're probably not gonna like this palette. But I think that it's nice. And Crown really brings out the green shades like Thorn and Twilight, and I just love these names for this, like Thorn, Twilight, Ember, Crown, Mulberry, Divine, Midnight, Fireside, Crimson, and Moonlight, like Leather and Smoke. These are like the most perfect fall shade names, and I love it. Got a whole bunch of new makeup. I'm going to be using some new makeup that I got for my birthday. Grabbed this. I've been wanting for the last this is like early 2000s or like something like that YouTube days where everybody was using this and raving about it, and it was an eyeshadow primer for a lot of people. The MAC, I cannot believe I'm saying this right now, Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Painterly. Like, oh my god. It is even better than I even thought it would be. It's so smooth. It covers up any lines on my eyelids so well, and it's just the best. And yes, I am priming already with this. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the Anastasia Fall Romance Eyeshadow Palette. I just can't get over how pretty these shades are, honestly. I'm going to start off, I've already primed my eyelids, and I set my inner corner to brow bone area with my Essence eyeshadow single in the 1, which is just like a nice nude kind of white shade. It's just a nice like setting shade for me. And now I'm going to start off with, of course, Leather. This is the perfect blending shade for this whole entire palette. I absolutely love this shade. I'm going to take that on my Morphe M330 brush. It's like a little bit, it's like a very soft blending brush, but it's a little bit pointed. And I'm just going to start applying that Leather shade in my outer corner and crease. This is going to be our starter blending shade. And it kind of has to be for all the looks because this is the lightest color in the whole palette. Everything else is shimmers and nice and dark shades. The only thing I don't love about this palette is that some of these shades in here are like, some of these shades that I feel like should be matte in here have shimmers in them, which is not my favorite. To go in with my Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush and use Mulberry, which is this one right here. I absolutely love this shade. And I'm just gonna start packing that shade in my crease. And even though it has shimmers in it, you can't really tell once you start blending it out and stuff. You can't really tell that there's shimmers in there was shimmers in it like at all. It kind of just turns into a nice almost matte crease shade. But like, look at that. That's like a really pretty almost burgundy type of brown shade, and it really complements crimson really nicely. So I just build that up on the outer lid and outer corner and bring it into the crease as well. And then I'm going to take my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH39 brush and use Crimson, which is a beautiful deep burgundy matte shade. And I'm just going to put that in my outer corner and blend it a little bit up into the crease and onto the outer half of the lid right here, just to really get that shade nice and intense. And then I'm going to go back with the brush that we used leather on and just kind of buff it out a little bit, but it doesn't take much. And then you have the perfect burgundy smoky eye on the outer corners. And then this shade, Fireside, is the most perfect shade for this, for the lid. And I'm going to use that with my Morphe M421 brush. Now this, a lot of these shimmers are different formulas. Fireside is extremely soft and pigmented and almost a little bit loose. And it does have fallout, but it is such a pretty shade. It's the smoothest shimmery metallic shade in this palette. The rest are not as soft and smooth, but they are still very pigmented and all that good stuff, and very easy to apply to the eyelid. But I just wanted to mention that this is the softest metallic in this palette. And I'm gonna be bringing Fireside up almost into the crease a little bit right here in this inner portion where we're laying it down, so that way we have a nice, so that way even when it really helps, almost like this inner crease area, it really helps add some extra, it just looks really pretty and it adds something extra to it. And then I'm going to be taking it with my finger, which this is how you really get the full effect of this shade, is using it with your finger. It's so pretty. I just absolutely love it. And that is the eyeshadow look with this palette. I really, really love the way that it turned out. And it's really pretty. So now I'm going to move on to my face makeup, and I'm going to use my e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. This is my favorite smoothing primer of all time. I absolutely love it. Oh, and something I forgot to mention is that I love about this Anastasia palette is that the packaging is like the Modern Renaissance palette from way back when. I never got to have that palette because it was just too expensive for me, but I did love to, but that palette was a really nice palette, and you can still get it but on their site. But I'm really glad that they brought back that packaging for my very first palette that I've ever bought from them. It gives me almost ASMR feels, like someone could do a wonderful ASMR video with this palette because it's just so amazing. The only issue with it is that it really attaches to like the glitters, and there's like a little bit of glitter in these metallic shades, and it really like attaches to the fabric on the front. And also these shades do not swatch very good, but they do work amazing on the eye, so, which is what's important. So now I'm going to use the Essence Fix and Last jelly primer. This really is a jelly. It literally has that jelly texture. And it feels so nice and hydrating on the face. And I absolutely love it. My favorite foundation ever, the Relove by Revolution Super Serum Foundation. This is my absolute favorite right now. I absolutely love it. It has beautiful medium to full coverage. I use a full dropper of it. The shade isn't perfect for my skin tone, but I can kind of get away with it with powder and such. Recently picked up a new sponge from Walmart. It's literally a Walmart brand. It was super cheap. This doesn't even have like a brand name or anything. It's just a cosmetic sponge set. It came with this little purple blender, and it's so amazingly soft, and it reminds me a lot of the actual beauty blender that everyone is still in love with to this day. I really want that beauty blender, but $20 for a sponge is a little steep for me, and I feel like I get the effect with this one and just like drugstore sponges. Okay, so then now I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape Radiant Concealer. I'm really excited to use this with a full face of makeup. And I'm gonna put this on all of my acne spots and under my eyes. Oh, that looks so good. It really does have the most beautiful radiant finish. And I'm gonna use my Makeup Revolution Cream Bronzer. I'm not sure. I'm gonna use this e.l.f. Complexion Duo Brush. Get some of that. Whoa. This is incredibly pigmented. Okay, take like the tiniest bit of this. It's okay, because I can go over it with my sponge and even it out. But yeah, the tiniest tap of this stuff will give you some color. My Juvia's Place Blush Lily, which people were saying this is like so pigmented, so I'm gonna take like that much. Oh, that's so nice. It gives the nicest it gives the nicest blushed cheek, and it gives a nice glow to the skin. Okay, and then we're going to do powder with my new powder puff, which I'm super excited for. My Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. That right in there and just set. Okay, whoa. It picks up so much more product. And distributes it. That picked up so much more than my other ones normally do. So it looks like I'm gonna need less powder with this. It doesn't get under the eyes as good because it's not as pointy as this one is, but it is really nice. And then I'm going to use my Too Faced Natural Chocolate Soleil Bronzer in the shade Caramel Cocoa. My absolute favorite bronzer of all time. And I'm using that with my Morphe JH02 brush. And I don't need a lot because of the cream bronzer we put underneath. I'm going to use my Juvia's Place Blushed Volume 4 palette. And I am going to use the lightest pink right here to blush up the cheeks. I guess I should have put a little bit more blush because it kind of got taken away by powder and all that, so I guess I should have used a little bit more. And then I'm going to use my Rare Beauty highlighter and Enlighten, and we'll test out how it looks. I'm using my Do Care highlighting brush. Okay, so it is kind of blinding, but I really like it. It looks cute. And it's not really accentuating too much of the texture that I have on my face. I'm going to take it with my finger and I'm going to put it in my, I'm going to put some of this in my inner corner. To help brighten there as well. So now I'm going to use my Rimmel Scandal Eyes waterproof gel pencil in the shade Nude, and it's just a really nice nude pencil. It's really soft and easy to use, and I really like it. I'm gonna just put that in my waterline. I'm gonna add some shadow on my lower lash line, and I'm gonna use my Morphe M508 brush. I'm gonna go into Mulberry first, and I'm going to apply a little bit of that to my lower lash line. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of crimson and put that on the outer portion. I'm going to use the shade Fireside again on that brush, and I'm going to put that mostly in the inner portion right here. And it's really going to add an extra something to the lower lash, to like this inner portion, and then kind of buff it outwards onto the rest of that, so that it's continuing on the lower lash as well. And then I'm going to curl my eyelashes and try out the new Milani, well, it's not new, but it's new to me, the Milani Anti-Gravity Mascara. That worked pretty nicely. It helped it really did help lengthen and volumize a little bit. I thought that the shade in the liquid lip that I had was soft beige, but it's not, it's rosy nude. So I wanted to get the matching lip liner to this one, but I didn't end up getting the right shade. Because I forgot which one I had, but this shade is a really nice color and I like it. So I'm gonna line my lips with that and fill them in. Now now I'm going to lipstick. I'm going to use my Milani Color Fetish matte lipstick in the shade Tease, which is a really nice kind of cool tone nude. And I'm going to put that on top. So this is the finished makeup tutorial using a bunch of new makeup and the new Anastasia Fall Romance palette. I'm going to be definitely doing a look with these greens. And so yeah, I'm really in love with this palette. I really love it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.